love connecting dots with the research that I do. There's a lot of different sources, resources that I like to pull wisdom from, and then I borrow it and send it off to all of you, and I connect the dots a little bit here and there. What I was connecting today, the thought of memento mori made me think of this law that I read about in one of Brian Tracy's books. Brian Tracy is 81 years old. He's an author. He's written over 80 books, I believe. One of his books I do have. It's all marked up. But he's just a wonderful motivational speaker. He's very knowledgeable with business, success, all different things. But he really has a wonderful perspective and a wonderful way of looking at things. I first came across this particular law years ago. In his book that I have, he talks about what he calls the law of the excluded alternative. And basically, it is that, I'm on the wrong page. So it says, whenever you choose to do one thing, you are simultaneously choosing to not do something else. So I've given that a lot of thought over the years, and I think that it helps us to make mindful decisions. When we consider that, what we're choosing in that moment means that we're choosing to not do something else. So I want to tie that into Marcus Aurelius, his private journal called Meditations, book 2, verse 11, it says, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." So we're connecting the dots between Brian Tracy's law of the excluded alternative and some Stoic philosophy that has to do with the awareness that we're not going to live forever. And we never know how much more time we have, which is really possibly morbid sounding to some people, but something really beautiful to think about. So how does this apply to parenting? I basically wrote a little list here, and I'll send it out in the description too. But I think keeping in mind the awareness that we're not going to live forever, and the awareness that our decisions, whenever we decide one thing, we are choosing to not do something else. So this helps us to prioritize according to virtue and purpose, and to not squander or waste our time. This also ties into that dichotomy of control, which I've talked about. Basically saying no to distractions that could pull you away from the things that you can influence. So this helps us to figure out what we can and can't control, and to only focus our energy on the things that we can control or influence. So amor fati, which means love your fate or love of fate. We talked about that earlier in the week. So basically the path that you didn't choose no longer matters unless you're going to use that in a constructive way and pull a lesson from it, or pull some kind of gift or gratitude from that. And so we make the most of the path that we're on, whether it was a path that we chose or not. Because sometimes things do happen in our lives that are things that we didn't necessarily choose, but what we can choose is to make the most of them. And also, I think looking at situations, especially tough situations, with an open mind and a willingness to learn something, or a willingness to even see it as something that has been put in our path to show us something that we maybe is above and beyond anything we ever could have wished for ourselves, something better. And then memento mori, so the awareness that we're not going to last forever, tied to the law of the excluded alternative. It sharpens our awareness of the cost of time and how much each moment should be valued. So how do we apply this to making decisions in our day-to-day lives as parents? We can ask ourselves, I wrote down 3 things that we can ask ourselves, and I also put together a little decision-making tool or checklist. So if you want me to send that to you, let me know and I'll be happy to do that. So some of the decision-making questions: is this choice aligned with what I value most? What am I saying no to by saying yes to this? Am I using this moment in a way that I won't regret later? So you could apply this to maybe you're bogged down with housework, which often happens to me, and the kids want to play a board game, or they want to go outside and they want help building a snowman or something like that. It's just little decisions like that. You could apply these questions like the law of the excluded alternative, and you can also bring balance to your household this way too. Maybe say like, I really have to get these emails out, or I really have to fold this load of laundry so you have something to wear to school tomorrow. And then just say like, I just need 20 minutes and then I'll spend the next 2 hours with you, or whatever it is, We can model these skills and decision-making behaviors and model these for our children so that they have the same skills, and we can talk through our decision-making process with them. We can include them in these decisions, and I think that's a really nice way of looking at it. So there you are. There's your Thursday afternoon thoughts. If you have any thoughts, please feel free to share them. Any feedback, any recommendations for upcoming topics or concepts or resources, I'm happy to accept those and receive those from you. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow morning. Bye.